In this part, we will talk about security questions, the ones that some websites ask you when you create an account or when you try to recover your password. Their purpose is to verify that it is really you who is accessing the account, even if you have forgotten your password. For example, they may ask questions such as, what is the city where you were born? What is the name of the first school you attended? Or what was your childhood nickname? These questions are intended to add an extra layer of protection, but there is something important you should know. They do not replace two-factor authentication, which we discussed in a previous video. This is because both the password and the answers to security questions are based on the same authentication factor, which is something the person knows. In other words, both are secrets. Two-factor authentication, on the other hand, must combine two elements of different types. For example, using a password and an authentication app installed on your phone. The password corresponds to something the person knows, and the authentication app installed on your mobile phone corresponds to something the person has. It is always important to combine different authentication factors and not to use two methods from the same factor, such as combining a password with answers to security questions. This is because if a person has the habit of not properly protecting their secrets, an attacker will have little difficulty stealing both the password and the answers to the security questions. So although security questions can help slightly increase the level of security, they are not as secure as enabling two-step verification, that is, two-factor authentication. Another piece of advice is that if a website forces you to use security question answers, do not use real answers, such as your hometown or your pet's real name, since people close to you could easily guess them. Instead, you can invent answers, for example, 2 pepperoni pizzas instead of your pet's name, and store them in a password manager. This way, even if someone knows your personal information, they will not be able to guess your answers.